Hi everyone, I'm Holly from Hand Printed, and today we're going to be screen printing on fabric. So a couple of videos ago I showed you how to get started screen printing on paper, so if you haven't seen that one and you're interested, go back a couple of videos. But today we're going to be focusing on fabric. Now we use a different screen for screen printing on fabric. Ideally we use a 43 mesh screen, which looks like this. Our ones have white mesh aluminium frames. This just means that there's 43 threads in every centimetre of mesh, which is ideal for printing onto fabric. So the first thing that you'll need is a screen. These ones we have in a hand printed shop, we have them online. They are lightweight aluminium frames, they're really easy to handle and they won't warp, so these will be brilliant. This is an A4 size screen and I've already taped it up with some parcel tape here. You'll also need a squeegee. We use and we sell these aluminium squeegees, which are lightweight and work perfectly. For this, we are using a 225mm width squeegee, which fits perfectly in our A4 screens. The other thing you're going to need is some ink. We have this, I'm really excited to use this Permaset Neon Glow Yellow ink, which looks like this, which is, I love it. So I'm going to be using this ink. This is a pre-mixed textile screen printing ink. These Permaset ones are fantastic. We also have the Speedball one, which are really good. So it needs to be a fabric screen printing ink. You can also mix your own inks using a fabric screen printing medium and acrylic paint if you like. They tend to be a little stiffer on the fabric, but you can use those. Or you can mix your own using fabric screen printing binder. We have a hand printed one in the shop. And mixing them with pigments, so it's up to you, but the easiest thing to do is to grab a pot of a pre-mixed ink you can use straight out of the tub, and the colours are just so good. Okay, so we've got our screen, we've got a squeegee, we've got the ink. I'm going to be printing onto a padded surface, and this is the easiest way to get really great prints, so I would definitely recommend that you sort something out. If you go to our blog, you'll see we've made a blog post a little while ago about making a fabric printing pad, and that's one of these I've got just here on the floor. It is essentially a board covered in a blanket covered in some fabric, and it's all stapled and taped around so it's nice and stiff. You can pin out your fabric onto the board, which means that it will stay really nice and flat, and it gives you that little extra bit of padding which is so helpful for printing onto fabric. So if you've printed on fabric in the past and you've had any issues with it, you haven't got great results, a fabric pad could be the thing that is your game changer. So sort yourself out with one of these, preferably on a table, but as you can see you can work on the floor as well if you like, and that's the space you have available. So I've got my screen, my squeegee and ink, a couple of other bits and bobs, spatula for the ink, but you can use a spoon. I've got a tray here to put my ink on so I don't get it all over my carpet. You can use a sheet of newspaper. We're also going to need a paper stencil. So you can print with exposed screens if you like. If you want us to make one, then drop us an email with your design and we'll expose an image onto a screen for you. But you can just use a paper stencil. Because I've got this amazing neon glow ink, I'm going to use just a lightning bolt stencil, so just a simple paper stencil that I've cut out of 80-gram copy paper, so just normal printer paper, works perfectly. I want to place my stencil down onto the fabric and then place my taped screen over the top. I want to make sure that there's no gap between my stencil and the tape because I don't want any ink going through. I can then scoop a row of ink along the top of my stencil, just a little bit wider than your stencil. Then take my squeegee in one hand. Now because we're printing onto fabric, we have put our screen directly onto the fabric. We haven't got hinge clamps or anything to hold it. That means that the screen has contact straight on top of the fabric, which works really well for printing onto fabric. I'm just printing onto a plain cotton here. Natural fibres work best, something nice and smooth. So because my screen is free, it's not in hinge clamps like the last video. It means I'm going to use one hand to hold the squeegee, so I'm going to hold it in the middle like that, nice and firm. I'm going to use the other hand to hold the screen, so you can choose to hold it at the bottom, lean over and hold it at the top, whatever works for you. It just needs to stay nice and still. The first thing I'm going to do is use my squeegee at a 45-degree angle to drag the ink down the mesh and flood it. I'm going to hold it at the bottom and drag to flood. You should hear that sort of zip sound. All that's done is it's filled all the little holes in the mesh with ink. I'm going to now lean over it, go over the top, print again at a 45-degree angle, but this time I'm going to push hard. I'm going to hold the screen at the top. You'll find your own unique way of doing it once you get a feel for it. If you don't feel like you've got the print the first time, as long as your screen is still, you can go again. With your screen still, take your squeegee and pop it to one side. We like to rest it on an old tape roll, just to keep everything nice and clean. You want to pick up the side of your screen and lift it like a book page to reveal your print underneath. Your stencil will have now stuck to your screen, which means you can pick it up and move it to another part of your fabric. It's best not to put it straight down onto a wet area, so move to another part of the fabric. You can always come back and fill in the gaps later. As soon as you're finished printing, peel the stencil off your screen, scrape off any excess ink with the spatula, and it can go straight in the pot to be used again, and clean your screen. We like to clean our screens by having a bucket of cold water and a soft sponge, like a big car sponge. Wring out the sponge and wipe the screen clean. You can hold the screen up to the light to check that there aren't any blockages. Any ink that dries in the screen is going to cause you a problem, so it's really important to clean the screen as soon as you can. For your next print, lay it down on your fabric wherever you would like it. Your ink well, or your pool of ink, should be at the bottom of your screen now. So what I like to do is just use the squeegee to pick it up and pop it back at the top of the screen. Some people like to push it back to the top. That's completely up to you. Flood again. Hold and print. And peel up to reveal your print. You can have so much fun with screen printing on fabric at home. You can make garments, homewares, just designs, wall hangings, absolutely tons of stuff. The ink that we are using, and in fact most screen printing inks, need to be heat set. So when these are completely dry, I'm going to iron over them with a hot iron, as hot as the fabric can handle, until the fabric feels too hot to the touch, and then I know it's going to be heat set and it's going to be washable. All the inks that we sell at Hand Printed are water-based, so you don't have to use any solvents or anything like that for cleanup. There's lots of information on fabric screen printing on our website. Check out our blog, handprinted.co.uk/ramblings, but also, excitingly, we have a new booklet with all of our hand printed screen printing on fabric tips, full instructions, what you'll need, absolutely everything can be found in here. Bridget has put it together for us, and I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. We love it, and it's got all of our tips and tricks. It's got problem solving in the back as well, so if you're getting prints that you aren't happy with, we can help you figure out what's going on and help you get back to printing. So if you'd like to do any more printing, go to our website and grab one of these. It'll be really, really helpful for you. We also have all the materials and tools that you'll need to get started. Have fun printing. Let us know if you need any help. Grab one of these, and I'll see you soon.